Hi guys, and welcome to today's session. This is going to be the final lesson of the school year here in the UK that I'll be doing, and then we'll be taking a break for summer holidays until September, I think. I'm just going to adjust the exposure a little bit here. But yeah, so we're going to be finishing up this final little feature study. So we've done eyes, nose, mouth, and now we're doing ears. And last session, I got this wash drawing in. So this was just done in burnt umber using mineral spirits, kind of wiping back and adding paint. And we're just going to be basically adding colors to this, so altering the colors. It's not too far off aspects of the reference that I'm working on, which is up on the right. There's some places we need to go a bit pinker, some places a bit kind of paler and yellower. But on the whole, this isn't too bad as a sort of basis to be working from. So the first thing I'm going to do is find some sort of, not highlights exactly, but general lighter colors. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, mix it with some Cad Red, Cad Yellow, ended up with a colour pretty similar to what I already had from the previous session. So I want to go a little bit lighter than that, so I'm going to take a bit more white, a bit more red and yellow, yeah, that's better. So I'm going to use that there. I'm going to use that sort of on the inside of the ear as well. There are going to be highlights that are brighter than this, but this is just us kind of establishing a sort of lighter average tone, but you can see it sort of raising and enhancing the form, the shape of the form here. So I'm using this lighter tone to build the form up from the average, and then we're going to also then be putting shadows in to go down, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm changing the color of it. So I'm shifting a little bit pinker in places, going to be shifting a little bit more yellow. And some places it's going to go sort of grayer as well. So that's one aspect, and then the other aspect is, yeah, just kind of like heightening and lowering bits of the form basically, so things look more pronounced or less pronounced essentially. So kind of here as well, where it's cutting into the side of his head, we can go a little bit lighter with that too. Yeah, that's not a bad little start. I'm gonna just wipe my brush off a bit. And I'm now gonna mix up using some of my burnt umber and try a bit of Cad Red. I'm trying to get this kind of reddish glow that comes through in the shadow in the ear. Mixing something up a little bit lighter there. It was a bit kind of heavy dark. It's actually quite a sort of intense color, intense hue, this, but not super dark necessarily, this bit of the shadow. So I can jump back to my kind of half tones. A little bit of warmth into them as well. I want them to kind of go darker, so they're sort of transitioning down a little bit darker as they wrap around. I'm taking a slightly darker halftone colour here because I want to kind of blend up into that shadow, create what's called a penumbra, softer penumbra. Take a little bit more of this more pink color and get it into this shadow down here as well. And I want it to actually go a bit even darker, almost kind of verging on black in this gap, and then blend that out down. And then also down here as well, this gap too. So just pulling these half tones down here as well. And again, anytime I need to heighten it, I just pull a bit of white. Mix up, add a bit more of my high chroma colours into it, my reds and yellows. And I can just kind of mix that in. The basis of the wash drawing kind of keeps everything fairly anchored as you lay it and sort of shade it over essentially. So I'm going to mix up a slightly kind of cooler colour. There's a bit of a kind of greyishness here, so I've got some black mixed into my skin tone. Yeah, so we're getting to a point where we've got a lot of those forms kind of mapped out now. And sort of just starting to add blendings here and there, or soften things. So just a touch more in the darker values here and there. And then I'm going to start adding highlights because they're pretty much looking pretty good, I think, for the level of detail I'd go for something like this. So for the highlights, I'm going to take pure white. Again, just a touch of red and yellow. And I'm using CAD red and yellow, but you can use anything you want really. So just gonna start painting those in where I want to just further lift the skin tone a bit. And now I can take just pure white. I'm going to put some pure white here and there. Initially I'm just going to lay it in, kind of patch it in, and then we'll work on some blendings after. Because the skin's kind of like a mid-tone, it's not a super light skin or a super dark skin, or not a super light skin at least. We want it to have fairly bright highlights. That's usually the case. We've got a little bit of a highlight in this inner ear as well. Down here, inside these forms. So it's really just a case of kind of gradually building these forms up, kind of shading into them almost with the brush, the way that I paint. Down there as well. And yeah, we can just blend out a little bit more on that top edge. And yeah, that's looking pretty good for a study, I think. The last thing I'm going to do is take just a bit more, some burnt umber in my red, just to find some of these shadow edges where there is more of a definite shadow edge, a bit more crisply. So just those ones there, maybe blend out a little bit more from that edge. More under the ear. A little bit more of a kind of reddish glow under here as well. So it transitions up. And also just kind of blend up to this edge a bit more. Make it slightly darker. And then take just a bit of pure black, get the darkest notes in, so make just in there pure black, and then ear canal as well, just in here. Will go darker than it was. And yeah, that's it for colouring in this ear. So you can see I've just sort of done, from that base colour, we've done shifts that are a little bit warmer, shifts that are a little bit cooler. Added some shadow accents and added some highlights in it. It kind of comes together. So as I say, it's a great way to practice painting techniques in a fairly contained way. That it's not quite as high pressure as when you're doing a full portrait and you get all the features in balance. Allows you to study individual features, get a lot of the complex forms within those smaller forms like the ear, the eye, the nose, and in a more focused way. And then when you go back to painting a full portrait, you're a bit more familiar with painting, you feel a bit more comfortable with that, and you're also familiar with the individual features. So yeah, that's it for today's session, and as I say, this is the last one for a little while, but I'll be back in the new year, the new school year, doing some more. As always, you can comment and ask questions, request different types of videos in the comment section. You can like us if you want to see more videos from myself and other tutors on here, and you can also click the link in the description through to our website to see the sorts of paid qualifications that we offer. So yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys in a few months.